I wanted to look at this. I haven't seen it, but I'm trying to do a better job of, again, I get people sending me these things all the time. So this is by any means basketball, building a bag. Someone sent this, I think, in the Discord. So I'll read through it. I saw this, it was like 4 or 5 days ago when I saw this, and I just haven't gotten to it, but I'll see building a real bag broken down to a science. So obviously bag work has mixed connotations in the basketball world, but I like to think of it as building the toolbox. First off, what even is a bag? Here's how I'd define it: having a wide variety of tools to respond to anything the defense does. I agree. I don't know if having a bag. So one thing I do disagree with, though, is just even needing to use the word bag in a conversation. A player with a real bag is just a handyman who has every tool imaginable in their truck and knows how to use every single one for the job. Maybe. Yeah. I don't think I disagree with anything. Everyone's bag will be different based on their movement style, role, superpowers, situations they play in, and players they study. Keep this in mind. Now, how can we build or expand our bag? Step 0, prerequisites for players with elite level. Okay, this is a lot of slides here. Ball control and dexterity, fluidity and strength in a wide variety of positions and patterns, spatial awareness with general coordination. Training these may look like this. Okay, I agree with training. When you're making a player better, ball control and dexterity, like I always advocate for that, so I think that's good. Fluidity and strength, again, strength and conditioning, plyos, whatever. Like, I think this is all basic stuff. Spatial awareness and general coordination. Yes, but this one's tough to teach, but playing other sports, playing catch, like, yeah, all of this stuff I think is pretty basic knowledge. But this is where I start disagreeing. It's like, how much should we focus on the spatial awareness and general coordination? How much should we focus on ball control and dexterity? How much should we focus on fluidity and strength? All these different things. I think this is where the disconnect I have with a lot of these trainers is the amount of time spent on working on the outer perimeter of things you would use is I would flip it almost completely opposite what they do. I think most will spend time, 90% of the time, doing goofy things like we just talked about with a lot of people trying to post what sells or what gets attention. But unfortunately, that is just not how elite level improvement really works. Step 1, expose, watching and collecting ideas. Creativity requires input. Watching and studying a variety of players, not just in ISO, but in every situation, exposes the brain to new ideas for new tools. There are 2 types of tools: solutions, responding to what the defense does; setup, sometimes you need to force the defense. So I don't even necessarily disagree. So I think this is, again, another problem with our industry. I don't even necessarily disagree with anything here. Having more tools is good, yes, but not necessarily. Having more options is good, well, yes, but not necessarily. Again, if you know anything about marketing, if you know anything about trying to sell products, if you go to Walmart, there's a reason why some stores only stock a certain amount of chips. Because if you give people 1,000 different types of chips to choose from, they'll just look and be like, whoa, too many options, I'm leaving. So if you go to a store because you're like, man, I'm hungry for some chips, and they only have 2 different types of chips, well, you'll probably buy one. If you're hungry for chips, you're probably going to buy, if it's Cool Ranch, Doritos, or you got Pringles. If you only got 2 types, well, you're going to probably buy Cool Ranch, Doritos, or Pringles. If you go to the store and they got 1,000 different types of chips, you're going to walk down the chip aisle and you might just be like, I don't want any more chips. Same thing happens in basketball. If there's a problem, like let's say a defender backs up. If a defender backs up, the most effective, efficient solution typically is to just shoot. Be able to shoot open shots. But if a coach pulls you aside and goes, hey, when a defender backs up, you could shoot it, but you could also you could also like act like you're going to shoot, and then he'll close the gap, and then you can go do this. You can also, like, once you start adding in more options, you start getting these players that are kind of unpredictable. And mastery, so that's operating in chaos, as we speak about a lot. In mastery and in teaching, again, if this were a really important industry, or a really crucial industry where it matters, effectiveness and efficiency matters. So shooting, going to the gun range, surgery, swimming, when it's things like that, you teach the effectiveness and the efficiency first, and then you can add more options and layers as needed. And I think, again, that's where we're kind of backwards in basketball. They want to teach you every option, every layer, build your bag. They want to add all of the tools for these situations, but most times you just don't need that. Again, they teach chaos, but it's like controlling the chaos and operating in the chaos is the most effective way to, I guess, improve in your situation. So if you're in high school and you understand the game better than everyone else, and then you just do what you're good at, like, you're probably going to have massive success. If you have the best bag in high school, you might be the best player. You might not. You might never get to play. Like, that's not what indicates, that's not the difference between a good player and a bad player, is having a bag. Like, it just doesn't, that doesn't necessarily dictate whether you're going to have success or not. So this post, like I said, I don't, the problem with our industry is I don't think Coleman said anything wrong here. I just think these are like unnecessary posts for the most part. Like, having a bigger bag is going to make you a better player. Not necessarily. I do understand that's what the kids want to hear, and that's what gets the clicks and whatever. But if we just constantly train and coach and hyperfixate in the areas that are going to get the most clicks and the most views, are we actually doing a good job? If we're basing on what was a good post or what was a good drill based on like how many clicks and views it got, that's probably doing the opposite of what we think it's doing, right? That's more of an audience capture thing. It's more of an audience capture thing than it is pushing the game forward. So anyways, that's my thoughts. It's like how many dribbles it takes to get to the basket thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, someone in my comments just yesterday said, so coach, are you saying taking 2 dribbles is bad? I was like, no, but like, we should just do everything in our power to get there in 1. Then we'll solve the 2 dribble problem when we get there. But if we can get there in 1, we don't have to think. We just react. We just do the thing. Once we start getting into 2 dribbles, we've added some more complexity. We got figured out. Once we add 3, now it's even more complexity. More things can happen. Again, it's not wrong. Basketball is not perfect. It is chaotic. But the more we can control the chaos and keep it efficient, like, that's how you really become like an elite, effective player. Basic basketball wins basketball games. Who said that quote? Was that Dr. J? I'm pretty sure that's a Dr. J quote when he's like, great plays. Oh, that's what it is. It's like, great players make great plays. It's not great plays that make great players. So I think a lot of skills trainers try and create great plays. We're going to teach you how to do a double step, hezzy, up and under, reverse layup, jelly fam. We're going to teach you how to do that. And it's like, great players can do that, but that's not what makes them great. Great players will make those great plays. Don't try and create great plays, because that's not what creates great players. You know what? No, y'all aren't going to dictate my life. We're going to watch one more.
More power. Dip in the shooting motion can generate more power. It just takes longer to shoot. Whereas not having to dip the ball makes the shot faster. It just requires more physical strength. There's no one way of shooting a basketball that applies to all people in all conditions.
So Coach Dave Love it's funny because this is what the industry has become. Like, if you want to keep, he's one of the top 50 coaches of all. If you go look at that top 50 trainers list, he's one of the top 50 coaches in the world. I've been to 2 clinics where Dave Love has coached, and I think he's okay. Again, that's not a shot at Dave Love. I'm just like, when I hear a top 50 coach in the world, I assume I'm going to hear some great stuff. But like, again, people send me these videos and they want my opinion, but I'm like, what do you want me to say? Like, what did he say here? Listen to this. Like, what did he say?
Dip in the shooting motion can generate more power. It just takes longer to shoot.
Dipping the ball takes more power, but it takes longer to shoot. Okay.
Whereas not having to dip the ball makes the shot faster. It just requires more physical strength.
No dip means faster shot, but you need more strength. Okay. Well, he's just saying what happens. He's just saying the thing. What do you want me to say about, what are you guys wanting me to say about this video? Not saying anything.
There's no one way of shooting a basketball that applies to all people in all conditions.
Oh, people shoot differently. What am I supposed to what am I supposed to say about this? But it did make me want to look at some other Dave Love posts. Again, I don't think he's bad or great. I think skills training is just overly emphasized. I don't think there's much that you can't make a bad shooter a great shooter. I just don't think you can. If you could, then these guys would be making millions of dollars.
If you aren't as accurate as you would like to be, you might need to be paying attention to how you rotate your hips through the shot. But you need to be paying attention to how you practice this skill, because if you practice incorrectly, you might be limiting your ability as a shooter.
You're not saying anything.
When a player rotates their hip through the shooting motion, yes.
So my problem with these types of videos, yes, sometimes when people rotate their hips, it makes them a more inconsistent shooter. But also some people, some of the best shooters I've been around, they rotate their hips. There's no one size fits all. To help someone get better at shooting, you likely need to watch them shoot.
They are creating more power. But unfortunately, it is negative power that might push the ball away from the rim. As a player grows and
why is he switching camera?
Gains the physical maturity, they need to be trying to limit the rotation of their hips through the shooting motion.
Okay.
But
over this video,
dip in the shooting motion can. Are you going to be moving sideways in basketball games? Yes. Yeah, and actually quite a bit. So that's why we started with that movement of your jumping sideways, because that's going to happen a lot in basketball games. Can you stop the sideways energy? But it's not the only direction that you're going to be moving. And
you know what? Now
if you're struggling with your accuracy,
I think I'm going to watch the Zay interview. I'm over the skills trainers industry right now, because as I'm watching these videos, how is a kid supposed to watch these videos and understand like what it is they need to put into their shot? If you want to make people better shooters, I highly encourage you to learn how to teach players what a good shot is. If you can teach players what a good shot is, you are gonna create far better shooters than if you're trying to tell everyone how to shoot the ball. Right? Do you guys agree or disagree with that? Especially using NBA players as the examples, especially if you're like not looking at someone's shot and teaching them how to get better at it. Teaching people what is a good shot is going to create far better shooters, and then telling those players to go practice those good shots on their own, and then saying, now let's try and create opportunities to get more good shots. When you start talking about should you dip the basketball when you shoot, and you say, sometimes if you dip the ball, it's going to take longer. If you don't dip the ball, it's going to be faster. You're not answering the question. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you dip the ball or don't dip the ball. Are you getting open shots? If you're getting open enough, you can dip the ball, you can shimmy your shoulders, you can take 10 minutes to shoot if you want. If you're creating enough opportunities that are giving you 10 minutes to shoot. Again, we can use the Zay example. People keep saying like Zay's not a good shooter because he only shoots standstill open shots. And it's like, yeah, creating standstill open shots is one of the basic skills to become a good shooter. How do you create rob shots? How do you create in-range, on-balance, open shots? If you can create those shots, now we can really see what you are as a shooter. If you can't create those shots, it doesn't matter if you dip the ball or don't dip the ball. If you rotate your hips or don't rotate your hips. Again, this is all practicing you guys to prepare to be Guinness World Record holding shooters. This is not typically. Most of this advice is not teaching you how to become better in-game shooters or how to apply this in a game. And that's one thing I've definitely learned in my community over the past couple weeks. Most people see these skills training videos and they're not understanding that skills training, skills coaching, programs, all of this stuff should be leading you to be more impactful in a game. If it's not doing that, I think it's bullshit. And I think most of our skills training industry isn't doing that. And they don't ever have to own up to it, okay? I'm watching this Zay interview. Y'all piss me off. But first, before we watch the Zay interview, I just got it real quick.
Here in my garage.